I had met her in a meeting, and she asked me for prayer, and I tried something, didn't work at all. I said, come to the healing room, you know, we need to question you. So the team that was working on her, one of the ladies had a prophetic word, and it was about bitterness. And so when the prophecy was over, they asked her, like, do you recognize this? No, that's a lie. I'm not bitter. I have no bitterness. Said our team member. That's strange, you know. God speaks to me. I have no prejudice against you. I don't know you. He speaks about bitterness, and you say there isn't. Well, let's see. Are you in a good relationship with your parents? So this lady is in an electric chair, a scooter kind of thing, and she is paralyzed from here on, and she has no sensation in her feet and can't do anything, not even tremble, nothing. Do you have a good relationship with your mother? Yeah. Is it your father? Yes. With your brother? Yes. With your sister? My sister. My sister. Do you know what she did to me? She spread false rumors. She destroyed my name. She gossiped about me, and I lost my reputation because of her. You know, it was coming out like steam. And okay, then comes the fight. Which Jesus always wins. But it can be a battle. Sometimes you have to pound with the word of God. Boom. Who do you think you are? You think you're better than Jesus? He forgave the one that crucified him, and you think you don't need to forgive? Okay, sometimes it can go like that. And at the end, she capitulates, and she forgives her sister. I have marvelous people around me. And you're also marvelous people. And so they said, and now we believe that God is going to do something very special to you. So the two men, they're always teams of three, in this case, one woman, two men. And they say, we're going to lift you by your armpits. So the two strong guys lift her with the armpits so that she's in a standing position, and they say, try to move 1 foot in front of the other. Well, it's pretty miserable, but with some tremble, you know. At the end, the foot is over there. And they move her 1 step forward. Now the other foot, it goes a little easier. The other foot, it goes more easy, it goes more easy, and then the lady said, let me go, I can walk. And she walks out. After 6 years in a wheelchair.
Wow. Jesus.
And so I've seen so many people getting healed after they forgive. But we were talking about demons, weren't we? So I have to stick there. So maybe I should make it a little bit straightforward.
Yes.
How do you get demons? How do they come in? They do not come in like that. Probably there are a few here, although we did a pretty good prayer, so I guess they are out of the door. You know? But okay, you know, we did a pretty good worship, so I guess they might not have survived here. So we sprayed the godly insecticide, so no mosquitoes. Actually, they're very much like mosquitoes. And so I live in a swampy area, and you know, we have plenty of them. So all my windows and doors are protected by screens. But suppose at a summer night I would switch on the light, open the back door, don't pull the screen there. Within 10 minutes my whole house is filled with insects. I never have any insect in my house, but in that case. And I didn't even invite them. They just entered because I left the door open. That's how it works. So demons come in because there's somewhere an open door. And the most common open doors are called sin. And what kind of sin? Well, we're not going to do a Bible study really, but you find the whole stuff in Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 16 till 25. And it speaks about 3 major areas of sin. There are more, but 3 are very important. One is every kind of occultism, including acupuncture, yoga, some martial arts, horror movies. Well, so the Reiki is a good one. And so there are a lot of modern ones, and then you go to Africa or Romania, There you have still the old village witch, you know, the glass bowl and the cards and when you go to Africa, you know, they would still kill sacrifices, and you pay for it, and they'll make curses for you. So if you ever go there, you know, you have a demon. Some people say, oh, demon. Well, they have about the size of mosquitoes. If you ever had one in your room and you were about to sleep, you switch off the light. And then, you know, if you are like me, I start beating myself and I hear so. and I didn't hit it. And so then at some point you switch on the light and you can't find it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then again, you'll try to sleep and that comes. And so at some point you just let it go and get bitten, and in the morning you wake up with all those lips. So a demon is a spiritual pressure. It can be very intense, it can be very superficial, it can be more on the outside, more on the inside. Okay, gradual oppressions. I don't want to go so much in that, but any kind of occultism, you get one. So a lady came to me, and I felt there was something wrong. So I asked, did you ever see horoscopes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it, but didn't believe it.
Right.
Do you think it really matters to the devil if you believed it?
Right.
The moment your curiosity goes that far, that you actually see it, and the message comes in, even if you said, well, that's crap, I don't believe it. You open your eyes to it, and you have one. Mm-hmm. And you can say, well, I mean, I had no bad intentions. The devil is not asking for your intentions. You gave him one finger. Mm-hmm. And so he did. So whenever, you know, it happened that we would see a movie, and somewhere in the movie, suddenly there's the gypsy woman with the glass bulb. We have only one option. Even if the movie was so romantic and it was so beautiful and we really loved it, there's one solution, the button. If you don't switch it off, you will feel it at night that you have defiled yourself, and it might haunt after you for quite a long while. So get away from it, rather switch it off. You know, Harry Potter, forget about it.
That's right.
You know, and so there's a lot of those stuff that's occult, half occult, bioresonance. They all try to make it science and acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, once I'm such a old guy. So at some point I'm in Romania, and I'm with the pastor's family, and they tell me, Gordon, my wife got a hip surgery, hip replacement, and so this afternoon, an old Pentecostal sister is going to come to give a massage. And she's very good, she's 72, and she's very good massager, so she's coming. And he says, you know, the pastor says, I also take a massage, and maybe you want one. I said, well, actually, never in my life I had a massage. But if it's a Pentecostal sister, you know, what's... And so, okay, she comes, and, you know, she's doing a bit on my back, and I have a big spot. I mean, I know it's there, and it doesn't bother me mostly, but it's, you know, when I sit too long in airplanes, like coming here, you know, 10, 13, 14 hours, you know, it feels not so comfortable. So it's a weak spot. So she's, you know, cleaning that a little bit. And I said, what should I do about it? And she says, just lay 5 nights on a rather hard bed and lay on your back and it will settle. Okay, good advice. So she goes my hands and she starts massaging it and she says, well, you don't have really good circulation there. I know that, you know, when I'm in the cold, my hands tend to get white. So, okay. Then she goes to my feet and she says, well, circulation's not so good. And you know, I have a little bit flat foot, so I have like insoles with arch support. Maybe who has that? Okay, congratulations. and okay, so she started pushing my feet, and she says, "Does it hurt?" I said, "No, it's a little bit sensitive, and you push very hard, but no, it doesn't hurt." She says, "Yes, that's because you have a prostata problem." A prostata problem.
I hope she wasn't going there next.
Now, I know how she got that. It's foot reflexology. And it's a kind of Taoism that connects, certain parts of your foot soles with certain inner organs, and it's complete crap. It's complete superstition, and it's Chinese. I love you, Chinese. But that's stuff we should. No, not Chinese.
No.
Okay. Español.
Español.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Viva España.
Viva España.
Me gusta España. Y también yo he predicado en español. No, mucho. Okay, good. So I love that. Sorry.
It's okay.
Because there are too many Chinese here that I think everyone is Chinese. Sorry. No one is offended.
Not at all, no.
Anyone, you come and beat me, I'd rather have you. Okay. So immediately I say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not accepting this. What are you doing here? And she said, well, I had a course in this. I said, do you know what this is? This is Chinese Taoism. This is foot reflexology. It's highly occult, and I forbid you to do that, and I'm not accepting this. And what you said is a lie, and I'm not going to accept it. So she connects a weak spot in my foot soles with a prostate problem over here, And suppose I wouldn't have reacted. I'm going to tell you what happens. The next day, sorry for my language, I'm Dutch. I have to pee one time more than normal. And I think, maybe she's right. Maybe I do have a prostate problem. I'll tell you, the next day I have a prostate problem.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
Because I didn't go against it, and I didn't rebuke it. I accepted it. Now something happens, I start believing it, and now it has control, and I'll die of prostate problems.
Yeah.
So I was a bit shocked that this just creeps in, even into the church. I was so upset by it, angry about it, because I know the danger of all those unscientific, occult therapies, and people are so fond of it. And especially in this area, people are so scientific, they all run after those quacks. Okay, good. So, occultism, witchcraft, idolatry, different from country to country. In Africa, where they have still human sacrifices, yes, they have. Here, where it's just Reiki. But it's all the same source. And so this brings demons.
Yeah.
The second category is sexual sin. And it's not about masturbation. Masturbation is not okay, but you do not immediately get a demon from it. But it's all those sexual sins that happens between partners that are not married, between partners that are married but not to one another, homosexual sin. I'm sorry, I'm in California, so now they're going to crucify me. Incest, sex with close relatives, rape, and the whole stuff. And it brings demons. Okay, you can read the Old Testament that there are many sexual sins that have the death penalty. And so don't try any one of these, because it brings a curse. And the last category is the category of murder. And I think I'm going to read it to you, because then you get an impression that I'm not really there. And so I go to Deuteronomy 27, verse 24, 25. Cursed is anyone who kills his neighbor secretly. Then all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is anyone who accepts a bride to kill an innocent person, and then all the people shall say, Amen. Okay. So Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 24, 25. There's a word secret. In this whole list of curses, is the word secret is more often. So it's things that you do and no one sees it. And you're not judged. So when I murder and I'm arrested, found guilty and hanged, there's no curse. I'll have no demons, but I'll be dead. When I kill someone, I'm not found, and I'm not tried, and I don't get to jail, you think you're free. No, you're cursed, you have a demon. And it will affect your life, shorten it, and it will affect everything that's yours. Your business, your marriage, your children, your grandchildren, everyone that is alive around you, your chicken, your cat, your dog, you know. And so it will affect your whole territory. And it's cursed. Yes, abortion. Murder. You know, people are afraid to say that. Abortion brings a curse, and it will shorten your life. And I'm not saying that to accuse anyone. That's not the point here. We want to be free. And now some people might say, yes, but you know, I did that, I was young, and you know, after that I accepted Jesus, I was baptized, so it's no longer valid. Is it? Is it? Well, since you accepted Jesus, you can bring your curse to Jesus. That's an option. To bring it to him, and it goes with repentance, confession, then the curse can be broken and the demon can be cast out. When you don't come to Jesus, that cannot be done to you. You cannot receive freedom from the curse of abortion if you don't come to Jesus. Because he's the only one who took the curse upon himself, so you can bring it there. But it's no automatism. People think, even about, in fact, all blessings of God, that there is kind of automatism. Automatism. Well, many of us got baptized, by faith. I mean, as adults. How many got baptized as an adult? Okay, most of you. So if you were sick before, were you automatically healed at that moment? No. It's strange, isn't it? Isn't that strange? But from that moment, you have access to the grace of God and his promises. So now you can say, in the stripes of Jesus, I'm healed. Before that, you couldn't say that, because you didn't belong to him. So now you can combat the disease. You have a right to combat it. But it didn't come automatically. And so deliverance doesn't come automatically, but the moment you accept Jesus, you can get it. One day I was with gypsies in Romania, and I'm everywhere. And so I heard a word like, who has a pain in the belly? And a man comes, he gets healed. And so he comes after the meeting, he says to me, you healed my belly pain. Can you take away a curse from my life? I said, yes, but did you receive Jesus? No, I'm not a believer. I said, no, then it makes no sense. I can cast a demon out of your life, because a curse is always executed by a demon. That's how it works. The name is a curse, but it's a demon who does it. I said, well, it won't help you, because if I cast out the demon, it will come back to you tomorrow. He says, so you can't set me free from a curse if I do not accept Jesus. I said, you got it. Couldn't you try, to cast out that spirit of curse without me becoming a Christian? I said, listen, I have no time for this discussion. And, I have other people waiting for me, so I'll go there. In 15 minutes, I'll be back here, and you'll tell me your decision, whether you accept Jesus or not. As I came back, he was gone. And later on, I found out he was a notorious thief. And so he realized that when he accepts Jesus, he has to stop stealing. And so he was not relieved of his curse, because he didn't want to follow Jesus. If he had, he could have removed it from him. That's how it worked. Now I'm going to make it bitter. And again, it's not an accusation, it's to make you think. And it's a story that I always tell in Africa, and but it could happen here. So in Africa, it's typical that 1 in 3 girls at high school gets pregnant, producing tens of thousands of abortions and tens of thousands of unwanted children. So let's look into it. So there's this girl, she's 17, and she has a boyfriend, 17, and they do not behave according to the rules of God. I mean, they get education about HIV, like if ever you would have sex, use a preservative, but they don't care, and a conservative costs $1, and we just want to have the fun, the boy. And so, okay, she gets pregnant. So she tells her boyfriend, I'm pregnant. Well, it's not mine. Okay. She convinces him that she had no other, and so it's his. And he says, well, I talk with my parents and get the money for an abortion. She goes to her class teacher and says, listen, I'm pregnant. Of course, the class teacher says, didn't we warn you? You know, you got your warnings, you know, why did you? Okay. But then the class teacher will say, okay, it's a fact. You should have an abortion. Because if you don't do that, you will not finish high school, you will have no job. What man is going to marry you if you already have a child? So, you're ruining your life. She goes to her mother. Mom, I'm pregnant. And the mother says, listen, you know, we raised you and your 6 siblings. We're not going to start all over again. This is your problem. And listen, you should have an abortion. If you don't have it, you will not finish high school, not have a job. Which man wants to have you? And if there's a man, he will only pay half the dowry that he should pay us. Because in Africa, you have to buy your wife. That's a disadvantage and also an advantage because you can buy more than one. Sorry. I'm just joking. I hope you still have a sense of humor. But of course, it's a big disadvantage. And so, if you already have a child, you know, your future husband will say, well, you know, I'm not going to pay so much because it also includes a child that they have to take care for. So the parents feel like, you stole our money, you stole our dowry. So there's a strong pressure, like, you should have an abortion. So she goes to the hospital, there's the nurses, there's the doctor, and then I ask, who is guilty of abortion? I'm asking you, who is guilty of abortion?
Everyone who said yes.
Everyone that said yes, and everyone that complotted against the unborn child to have it killed. And so who has the curse? All of them. All of them. Now, I actually told this story in Africa, and in my audience is a couple, they are believers, and they have a daughter of 17. She's pregnant of the neighbor. And they decided, although they are believers, to advise their daughter to have an abortion because of all those reasons. They are shocked. And they come home and tell their daughter, abortion is off. It's off.
Wow.
Because we'll all be cursed.
Wow.
And it won't bring us anything good. We'll all be cursed.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. So there will be no abortion. To no price, there will be no abortion. So during the time of the pregnancy, the girl gets saved. She gives her life to Jesus. She gives birth. And she and her baby live with the pastor's family. And the pastor is my friend. And I don't know anything. And so one day I'm going to visit the pastor that I'm working with. And there's a young lady. And she has a baby. And she comes and gives it to me and says, here, it's your child. And I'm like, I didn't know it was that easy. And it's such a cute boy. It's such a cute boy. And I'm, in fact, yeah, adorable, but I'm also upset. This boy was on death row. He was going to be killed. And of course, I'm very happy that through my message, in some this life was saved, but the idea that such a beautiful baby was supposed to be killed just struck me. And so last week I spoke with a computer engineer, and I said, we should invent a program that when you have DNA of a child, that you could make a picture like, this is how it will look when it's born. This is how it will look when it's 2 years old. This is how it will look when it's 5 years old. This is how it will look when it's a teenager. And obligatory present those list of pictures to the woman that wants to do an abortion. I say, and do you really want to kill this life? Because they will think, you excuse yourself, like it's just some flesh, and it's just some tissue, and it's not. And by the way, I'll tell you something. In my ministry, I had at least 1,000 women, and it might be more, that confessed to me about an abortion. And up to now, 9 men. 9 men that confessed to me I'm responsible for an abortion. So what happened to the other 991 men? They're still cursed. I mean, every baby has a biological mother and a biological father. They are both responsible, not the woman. Both of them. So if the man abandons the pregnant woman, if the man says you should have an abortion, he might try to think, well, it didn't happen to me, she did it. I mean, he didn't have to go to the doctor, but he's a murderer because he didn't protect his own child, and he's cursed. Now the point is, when women perceive something in their life that's painful, something demonic, something that's oppressing them, they go for help. When men perceive something that's oppressing them, they get tough. They get addicted, they become cruel, they harden themselves, they become inapproachable for the gospel. And so, when women are under pressure of demons, they become depressed, sometimes self-destructive, depressed, suicidal, depressed, they're looking for help, they're crying, and men become hardened, tougher, don't want a gospel anymore, just tough, and more tougher. So there's a difference in reaction of man on demonization than women. Women go for help. Men pretend, I don't need help. I don't want help. I'm strong enough. But it's just as miserable. Okay, so now we have the 3 main open doors. Remember? Idolatry, adultery, and murder, abortion as the 3 major open doors for curses. There are a few more. And one I want to mention because it's so common in American culture, and that is contamination with demons because of sex, because of soul ties. So, I'm going to explain it. The Bible says that when you have sex with someone, you become one flesh. Paul even says if you have sex with a prostitute, you become one with her. So it doesn't matter with whom you have sex, you become one with that person. That's a unity. And even it's that kind of unity that cannot be loosened anymore. It's like 2 pieces of paper, you glue them together and you try to separate them, and you end up with 2 very damaged pieces of paper, and it's a mess. So the more often you do that, the more messy your life becomes. And you're emotionally damaged. You won't trust any man anymore, or you won't trust any woman anymore, and so you will always compare one with the other, so it's very destructive. But the spiritual dimension has not been taken into account. So, in our ministry comes a young, beautiful lady, and she said, I'm a stalk, I need help. She says, I grew up in a Christian family, and I can't remember anything else than God was with us. The Bible for small children, Sunday school, youth club, then I was a youth leader, worship group, worship leader. And so up to 22, that was just a going line with God, prayer, Bible reading, everything was there, and I couldn't imagine anything else. Then I was 22, I was ready to go to university, and you get in the capital. And the first lesson, you're sitting in this auditorium, and I'm looking around, and my eyes just fall on this very handsome young man. Okay. we had a lesson, and during the lesson I watched that direction, and at the same moment he watches mine, he smiles, you know, and okay. So the next day, there's still an empty seat beside me, and I put my bag there, and suddenly there's a voice, is this seat still free? And there's the handsome guy. He comes and sits next to me, you know. And so, you know, after the lessons, a walk, next day, a cup of coffee, next day, another one. We talk. I feel so relaxingly, you know, and then there's a party, then there's another party, and it's getting very late, and it's raining heavily, and he says, you know, don't go home, it's such bad weather, you can sleep in my room, and you got it. So for 3 months there's a sexual relationship at his room, at her room, you know, back and forth. That's how it happens. And then she says, you know, I woke up because suddenly I realized those Sundays I didn't go to church because we partied late at Saturday night. I realized I had stopped praying. I didn't read my Bible. And I realized I is not a child of God. And I don't want this. So I decided to quit. So I told him, like, sorry, I can't go on with this. I want to go back to God, back to my Christian friends, back to church, back to prayer, back to fellowship with God. I don't want this any longer. It's not okay. And so the separation was rather complete. Facebook accounts were deleted, telephone numbers were deleted, presents were returned. And so there's like, as far as possible, there is a separation. And she says, but there was something strange. I can't get rid of him. He's not following me, but you know, I feel like his presence in my room while he's not there. And when I'm in bed, I feel his hand touching me, and he's not there. Well, we know what it is. You know, it's the result of a soul tie. It's an unclean spirit. And it's very common in South America. It's so common that you can do an invitation on that. And 12 women come to the front. Women are more sensitive, but men also have that. And so often in premarital counseling, young people come to me and they say, yeah, Pastor Gordon, I have such strange experiences. And then I ask them, did you have another lover before this one? And it's always that. And it's always the cause of these strange things. And I said, okay, this is a soul tie. And it's an unclean spirit. And so she asked me, can you help me? I said, yes. Do you really regret what you did? And she said, I'm so sorry. And I asked God to forgive me many times. And I really know it was wrong. It was sinful. I knew better. I knew I couldn't do that. And I did it anyway. And I was taken away by my feelings. And it was wrong. It was sinful. And I really know, it's not a mistake. It's my responsibility. And I asked God to forgive me. I said, okay, that's good. So this is what I do. I say, in the name of Jesus, I cut this ungodly soul tie between you and this guy. And whatever of you is with him, we demand it back. Whatever of him is with you, we send it back, we make a clear cut, and I cast out the unclean spirits that were in this relationship.
Amen.
And suddenly God speaks to me. That it's not enough. And so I ask her, was your boyfriend involved in any kind of occultism? He said, I don't know. We never talked about it. I never saw anything. We didn't discuss it. So, but she said, no, when